to a technical difficulty start already, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? It's EC Radio, Local Music Monday. How are you? Hope you enjoyed your weekend. I had a pretty cool, relaxing weekend. But before we get into my weekends, I want to give some love and respect into my sponsors right now. And shout out to EJA Moving Services, the professional movers. When you're ready to move and relocate, hit them up at 315-335-0516. They'll do car transport. They'll transport your college student. They'll move your house. They'll move your studio. They'll move your dumpster. They'll do pretty much whatever you need to do. EJAmoving.com. Shout out to my attorney, Dave Longaretta, too, for always keeping me out of trouble at 315-735-6162. Shout out to Utica Coffee, and also shout out to my peeps over at Saranac.
Yeah,
Justin, I'm drinking today.
I love it.
I'm gonna have a couple pops.
Well, you haven't drank so long on the show that I started bringing coffee. I'm like, I'm not going to drink alone. It's just not going to happen. So, now you're drinking, I'm drinking coffee, and we got to meet up again next week, I think.
One of these days we will. That rumbling voice that you hear in the background is my co-host of Local Music Monday from the awesome band Showtime.
Hey,
Justin Smithson. I got a surprise for you too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like on air?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Surprise.
All right. I like surprises.
I can't wait to bust this out, actually. I'm pretty excited.
Am I going to turn all red in the face?
No. Actually, you're going to love this.
All right.
You're going to love this.
I like it.
I want to take a sip of it.
Like, how is it?
Oh, that's really good.
Is it good?
Apple Crisp Spiked Seltzer from Saranac. Ooh. This is new. It's like the winter line, if you will.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes. Very tasty. Somebody else that's very tasty. It's in the studio with us right now. Tasty little guitar player himself. I feel like he grew up right before our eyes,
I know,
right?
Tell me about it, man.
Spencer Morgan, man. Good to see you.
Yeah. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for doing this in spare moment, right?
I know, right?
You've seen him?
Well, it was so funny because the other day I was at Big Apple, and I haven't, believe it or not, it's been so long since I've seen you that, number one, I haven't seen you with long hair.
Right.
And number two, you had a mask on.
Yep.
So, all of a sudden, this dude's like, hey, Justin, what's up? I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? Spencer? And he was like, sorry, I didn't recognize you with a mask on. And we got talking, and I'm like, yeah, we're doing this local music thing. I'd love to have you on because you're one of the only ones that we haven't had on so far.
He was definitely on the list.
Yeah, oh yeah,
you've been on that list, boy.
And he's like, yeah, just give me a heads up and I'll come on. And little did I know that you posted that the day after, and I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, yeah, let's get Spencer.
He's like, hope this is enough heads up. I was like, yeah, it's perfect. It's good.
Awesome.
No, I appreciate you having me though. Thanks for having me.
What have you been up to, brother? I mean, since we're sitting in COVID, are you just kind of sitting around, or have you been keeping active?
I mean, I was lucky to gig out some.
Yeah.
I've been gigging at, I was doing Copper City Brewery, and then One Jenny, Celtic Harp, getting to do some stuff like that. The band was getting to do One Jenny here and there. Mm-hmm. And then I've just really been focusing on writing a lot more now to kind of push that forward and keep doing that.
You see this? I'm smiling.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
I like it.
It's great.
I just want to keep the momentum going with that and just keep pushing forward. I mean, it's obviously it's an easy time to get wrapped up in and depressed and down and focused on the negatives of it and everything. But, lately I've just really been trying to focus on being like, all right, well, this is the hand you're dealt right now. This is the hand everybody's dealt right now. There's really nothing you can do about it. Just stay safe, try to stay positive, try to stay, somewhat, I guess, busy,
Right.
It's a good time to write, though, right now, too.
Oh, my God,
because you're not gigging as much. I mean, you're playing just as much as Showtime. I mean, you guys are out there 200 days out of the year playing.
We were busy. And, you know all about it. And it's it's...
Hence why I didn't recognize him at Big Apple. I mean, literally, it's been that long since we've seen each other, and it's...
and the laziness of the hair here.
Right,
just letting it go for a little bit.
I don't know. It's kind of cool, though. I'm digging it. I mean, I dig anybody that can grow hair because I can't.
It's all fun and games, when my 3-year-old niece is like, Uncle Spencer, and now she comes up to me, she's like, hey, Aunt Spencer, and I'm like, what the hell? What? That didn't happen yet, but I'll put a stop to it before that does.
Right.
Well, before we went on air, we were talking about when you released that new video and you had a new song out, and you were saying that was in the beginning of the year. This year's been so long, I felt like it was 2 years old.
So that was in March, and honestly,
it was March?
Even for me, it feels like it was longer, but it was in March, and I was really pumped, really excited to do it. It was the first time putting out original music for me, like an original EP, and I had 6 songs on it and ready to go and everything. And I had released it. That was the date it was coming out, and I had it set up with the streaming platforms and iTunes and all that stuff. That's when it was coming.
Yeah.
So at that point, there was really no avoiding it once all this went down. So I was like, all right, I just still got to roll with it and release it, and just whatever happens, happens. But,
sure.
It put a kibosh on everything because I was hoping to do a live show of it, and I was getting musicians together, using some of the guys with Last Left there, obviously, since they played on it, and getting a few extra guys in there to be able to pull off all the parts and everything, and was going to do a release for it and a live show for it, and then everything went down and kind of put a stop to that. But I mean, it is what it is. You know, it happens.
Right.
And I was still able to release it and lucky to get it out there. And I've been fortunate enough to get pretty good feedback on it for the most part.
That's
and
great.
everything, So
It's great, man. I was digging your writing style. You got like the whole
Thank you.
Bruce Springsteen thing vibe going, man. I'm
That's-
digging it.
Yeah, he's somebody that I turned to, especially probably years ago as a songwriter. And I was like, wow, this guy can write a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when I started discovering, you know, even more. I turned to more songwriting people, I guess, like Dylan and Petty and Neil Young and people like that. And
Those are great people to be inspired by.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to be able to do. You know, I wanted to write songs just that people could try and relate to and people could hear and just be like, wow, all right, that makes sense. You know, something that somebody could take in their car with them to work or from work or
Yeah.
get home, you know, cook dinner to it, end of the night, wind down the day with it, anything like that. You know, I just wanted to write something that was, I guess, you know, maybe a little more meaningful. Try to at least. You
Yeah,
know,
sure.
Maybe not just a fleeting thing, you know.
Right.
So that was what I was going for with that. But, you know, the writing I've been doing lately, it's just, I have too many influences to try and shut some out, you know, and what I was
Yeah.
raised listening to and what I, you know, grew up getting into on my own and everything. There's too many different styles and influences
Sure.
I'm influenced by. So now there's even more influences coming through in the writing I've been doing lately. So
That's awesome.
just trying to expand it.
As I said in the beginning, man, don't you feel like he grew up right before our
Yeah,
eyes?
dude.
I remember when he was playing the club at like 15 years old.
Well,
Well,
I think,
that's-
I think I saw you. Didn't you come in Glory Days with your dad's band at one point? Remember that place in Herkimer? Were you already
Yes.
with?
Yep, I came in. Yep,
Yeah.
I sat in the height chair, and then when it was when it was time, they took the bib off me. They put me on stage. They're like, "Here you go." Yeah, no.
And he's shredding. I'm like,
Glory Days. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
I remember Glory Days. Yep.
I'm trying to remember because I do remember catching a show. I think it was with Keel, maybe.
Probably Keel used to do the Devereaux. We used to do the Valley Brook 12
Yeah.
North.
Maybe it was the Valley Brook that I saw him
a
with
lot of
Keel.
things like that. Yeah.
And but it was like was Keel the band that you joined? Or what was the band your dad was in?
So that
where
was-
you used to come and like sit in.
That was the band that my dad was in the early to mid 70s. There was Keel the Puppet.
Right,
And
okay.
I remember being a kid and went around the age when I started getting into music. You know, I was intrigued by music at a young age. I remember as a kid, and I still remember like just flashes and visions of like, you know, my parents always had MTV music videos on around the
Yeah.
house. Fun fact for everybody out there, MTV, you know, those of you that don't know, used to play music
Wait,
videos.
what? Wait, what?
I know.
Pop-up video.
Yeah.
Oh
That
wow.
was VH1 Classics. Anyway.
But so like I remember just being really intrigued by all of that. And my dad had a guitar at the house, Epiphone acoustic, and I used to just open the case, and I remember the smell, as weird as that sounds, just coming out and being
Yep.
kind of getting me.
Yep.
And he had a Neil Young songbook, and I remember just looking at the picture, and I was like, this guy looks cool. And I didn't know anything about it. I was a kid at the time. And then when I was older and getting into music, even before I played instruments, I was getting into it, and my father pulled me aside. I was a teenager there, probably 13, 14, and he goes, if you're going to be getting into music, you're going to be getting into the good stuff, the right stuff.
Right.
And he gave me Led Zeppelin 4 on cassette and Led Zeppelin 1 on CD that he had. And he goes, this is a starter course for you, a little intro.
That's excellent parenting. by
Oh
the way,
yeah,
that's-
Jim.
absolutely.
That's the band that pulled me in, like, right away, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
I was sitting at a desk doing my homework. Needless to say, that homework didn't get done for a few more hours.
How old are you at this time?
I had to be about 13 or 14.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or 14. And then after that, because I started focusing on, like, the guitar and everything, and I started seeing videos of Jimmy Page and all this, and I was like, I want to play guitar, because I remember Slash as a kid. He was so cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, I seen the pictures of Keith Richards, and I'm like, it really doesn't get much cooler than that. And
No.
Jimmy Page, you know. So I got into
Well, with
guitar.
Keith Richards, you can live forever if you play guitar. you know,
Yeah,
that's what-
apparently so. You just fall off a coconut tree, though, apparently, too. No, what a guy.
I know, right?
What a guy. What a guy. So when I started saying I wanted to play an instrument, and I got into guitar, and I remember just putting on all those albums and stuff and trying to play along with it. And I took maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months of lessons. And then I got them taken away because I wasn't doing great in school. I kind of stopped focusing on that, so my grades started slipping a little bit. So I lost the guitar lessons, but I didn't really lose the, you know, passion that I had for it. And I just kept going with it and took it in my room and all this stuff. And then at the time, my dad's band, 3 of the guys were still local. One of the guys, Mark Frank, he moved out of state and everything and was doing his own thing. And Jim McCoy, Steve Lazarick, and my father were still in the area. And they were in talks about getting together and jamming at Steve's garage over on York Street there. He was a mechanic, had his own car garage there and everything. And they were getting together and jamming. And I was like, oh, this is cool. But it was school nights for me. And I was like, I'm curious to know what he's doing. I want to know what he's doing. He disappears like once a week with a bass guitar and just goes like, I want to know. So finally one night he was like, all right, you can come. And I was like, yes, this is great. Awesome. Awesome. And I just went, and I went there, and I met Steve and was talking to him for a few minutes, and then Jim McCoy comes in a few minutes later, and they're talking. I listened to him play a couple songs, and I was like, wow. And then they go to me, they're like, you play anything? And I go, oh, I'm starting to play guitar now and everything. And they were like, did you bring one? I go, no. And my father goes, I threw it in the car just in case.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh, cool. So they were like, all right, get it. Let him plug in. Let him play a little bit. And they had a show coming up at Albies, opening for Albies.
Hell yeah.
Opening up for Bob Aquaviva's band 33 Hertz.
33 Hertz. Yeah, I remember that.
And yeah, Bob was he was very gracious and reached out to them. Well, he was excited when Keel the Puppet was getting back together and everything, and he reached out to them and was like, you guys open, and he gave them the opportunity to do that. So they had that show coming up, and I remember plugging in the guitar, and the first song I got to do with them was When Love Comes to Town by U2 and B.B. King.
Yeah.
So just I got to noodle a little bit, and they looked at each other like, that was fun. Then we did Are You Gonna Go My Way by Lenny Kravitz, and we played that one. And then we did one more song. I want to say it was Shattered by the Rolling Stones. And then at the end of that, they looked at me and they go, so you want to be in the band? And I was like, what?
And how old are you?
14, maybe 15. Maybe 15, but yeah, I think, right around there. So actually, no, I would have been 15, I think. So just turned 15 or a few months after that. So they invited me to be in it. And yeah, my first show was at Albies.
Wow.
Opening there. And at the time, I wasn't able to learn every song that they did. They think they did about a 10 or 12 song set, and I think I had about 6 or 7 of them down.
Yeah.
So they pulled me out, and, I had the long hair over my face at the time, and I just, I was very just,
To yourself.
Yeah,
sure.
just in my own world doing it. And then, but it was such a high.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the place was mobbed. It was packed. Bob had a following. People were going out to see them. And then Keel the Puppet had people coming out being like, wait a second, is this the same band?
Yeah.
And after a couple years later, word started to spread and people came out of curiosity to see them again and everything.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. And the second show we did was the Valley Brook. And then I remember my mom pulling me aside after and was like, she's like, you can move a little bit. She's like, loosen up a little bit. She's like, people want to see you enjoying yourself. She's like, I know you're probably a little nervous. She's like, but move around, loosen up a little bit. And the third show we did was at the EC, the Concert Series for Life.
Yeah.
And we were on the same night with, was it Love Bone? And 33 Hertz.
It's my blackout years. I don't remember any of it.
Well, 33 Hertz was on the night, and then there was one other band. And I want to say that was the name of the band. Could be wrong.
Could have been.
I hope I'm not. Sound like a dick if I am. But,
Love Bone was.
It's weird. I
was
remember
Roy
these
Costin.
gigs, too.
Were they a
because
trio?
I was on that gig.
I think they might have been. It was like Roy Costin and who else played in that band,
I
too?
thought there was 4 in Costin, but maybe, I don't know, maybe there was 3.
Love Bone he's talking about.
Oh, Love Bone?
Yeah.
Oh.
I forgot who else was in that band, but anyhow.
So that was and that one was, that was televised.
Mhm.
But that was the first show that I actually started like moving around and loosening up a bit. And
Chuck Keith, sorry.
Then that
got
was
it.
yes,
Chuck
and that
Keith,
was the band.
Yeah, Chuck
All right,
Keith,
yes.
Roy Costin. And
Yep.
I can't remember who the drummer
That was the
but-
band, and I remember I got to play through Bob's like Wall of Marshall stacks that night and
dude.
everything. And
Did he have a Silver Jubilees then?
yes,
Okay, so that's I remember. Like I'm trying to piece
from what I remember, yes.
Yeah, because they were like a light gray, that light gray color.
Yes.
Yep,
And I remember,
Silver Jubilees,
at the age of like 15, I was like, I'm playing through a Wall of Marshalls right now. I was like, yeah.
So cool.
And
Well, they were all empty, right? Except for one.
No, I think Bob actually hooked them all up. Though.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah, we'll have to ask him, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, why
but,
not?
So yeah, then I was Keel the Puppet gained momentum, and then we were playing Glory Days, and like I said, the Valley Brook, the Devereaux, 12 North, a whole bunch of different places like that, private parties and stuff, and that was where I learned so much, almost everything from those guys. And I was a kid, and I just knew to kind of keep your mouth shut and just observe, listen, learn, watch, and I wanted to be the silent guitar player in the beginning. I didn't want to sing. I had no interest in that at all. And my logic was, well, Jimmy Page doesn't sing.
Right.
Slash doesn't sing. Why do I got to sing? And they were like, sing. And I started out just doing little backups on like David Bowie songs, like Rebel Rebel and Suffragette City. And then they gave me lead vocals on a song because it was a newer song and they thought I could do it. And it was When You Were Young by the Killers.
Oh.
And they were like, you can do this. And I was like, oh, well, we'll see. I don't know. And I gave it a try, and apparently it wasn't horrible because they let me keep the song, and I did it at the next show. So, and then at that point, they started giving me more to do, more songs, and then my guitar playing was growing also at the time, and we started doing harmonized leads, and by the end there, Keel the Puppet, the end of that run, the set list was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, for me, cutting my teeth on all the classic rock stuff, it was amazing. It was Zeppelin, it was the Stones, it was U2, it was Lou Reed, it was all this awesome stuff. Just really great stuff to grow up and learn and dive into. And, you know, learning guitar, it taught me a lot rhythmically and lead-wise. And then at the end, it started expanding so much to the point where it was like Foo Fighters and Muse. And I was like, wait, we're playing Muse. I was like, people don't play Muse. This is awesome. I was like, this is great. So it just got really exciting with them. And then, you know, unfortunately, Steve passed away from a heart attack. But and that was a blow. That was a crushing blow, you know, because I looked at those guys. They're my uncles. You know, I still do. But, you know, it's just, I'm forever grateful to them for everything that I learned and for them bringing me in. My father and, you know, Jim and Steve, I'm just eternally grateful for that, you know, and everybody that I met through them at the time was so supportive and just awesome. You know, nobody ever came up and was like, the kid, great. Okay, yeah, we got to deal with this now. Oh, kill the puppet, but we got to put up with this. Nobody was ever like that.
Yeah.
And it was just...
No,
it was
back
great.
then it was like, oh, you got to see this kid play.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, that's why I went.
Kid.
That's why I went to the show. It was like, you got to see this kid play, and it was like, you know, that's why I remember. I knew it was either Glory Days or Valley Brook when I saw you, and it definitely was Glory Days. Now I can remember because it was on the front stage. But yeah, I remember. I remember, like you said, long-haired kid. It was just like, you know, but. I mean, seeing you years later, like I didn't put two and two together until I saw your dad with you.
Right.
You know, and then I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I get where okay. And then I put two and two together. It was like, that was the same kid I saw at Glory Days. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool.
So after Steve passes, is that when you started up Blackfoot Jack?
So I started up Blackfoot Jack.
Was that right after that?
During Kill the Puppet, because my brother was playing.
So you're still in high school at this time, too, right?
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Your brother was playing.
Yeah.
Drums
So that was funny though, because there was a time where I was working at Marquee Cinemas. That was my first, like, I guess, job, and then, you know, I was doing the band and everything too. So, you know, I wasn't always able to do like the social gatherings and get-togethers and everything like that kids were doing. I'd be like, oh, I got a gig tonight. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you wouldn't understand, you know, dude. It's just this, you know. It's whatever, you know. I'm gonna be in a bar, okay? You have fun in the woods, freezing your balls off at a fire, okay? Running from the cops. No, but
exactly.
I was like, I'm in a bar, and they're like, wow, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be sipping a ginger ale, but I'm gonna tell people there's booze in it. You know?
Sure.
No, so I started Blackfoot Jack while I was in Kill the Puppet because my brother and those guys were jamming and doing their own thing as well with Ryan Blakeman. So it was Devin, Blake, Alex Diskin, Adam, my brother, and then Ryan Blakeman. They were doing something. And then they wanted to do something a little bit different than that. They were doing original music at that time, but they wanted to do some covers and get a little, you know, gig out a little bit more, I guess, or something along the lines of that. And it was... I mean, they were right downstairs. They were practicing in the garage. I was home, and I was like, ooh, I'll go downstairs. I'll do some playing with you.
I want to play.
Yeah. So I went downstairs, and we started jamming at the time, and we did, like, Wolf Mother Woman, I think was one of the first songs we did. Yeah, I used to be able to hit that.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Puberty.
Yeah.
But Wolf Mother Woman, and then, like, Stranglehold by Ted Nugent, and then, like, Don't Fear the Reaper. And we were like, okay, we got something here. Let's keep going. So I was doing Blackfoot Jack and Kill the Puppet at the same time. So I was taking what I learned in Kill and kind of bringing it to Blackfoot Jack as well. But Blackfoot Jack was another band that I was so fortunate to have such a camaraderie with all those guys and everything. You know, I'd known Devin. I mean, he was my brother's closest friend, you know. So I'd known Devin all growing up from when they played baseball together and everything. So he was like a big brother to me. And, you know, it was just... There was quite the camaraderie with those guys and everything, too. So I was fortunate enough to have, you know, my uncles and my pops in the one band teaching me all this amazing stuff, and I was learning from that. And then being able to take some of that to the other guys and stuff, too, and try to, you know, show them a little bit of what I was getting from Kill the Puppet, if I was able to.
Yeah.
And, you know, but I was learning with them as well, Blackfoot Jack. You know, they were just, you know, always impressive. We were always ready to learn, and we were learning new songs each week and everything, and it was an exciting time, you know. It was really cool. And Devin would do some of this vocal work and stuff, too. You know, I remember him singing Ozzy when we would do, like, Crazy Train and Bark at the Moon, Mr. Crowley. And that band, Blackfoot Jack, it was funny because I had a completely different mindset than what, I guess, the approach I took with the later cover band that I did. I kind of didn't catch on to anything being like, oh, people want to dance, people want to do this, people want to do this. I looked at it as like, I want to put on a show, I want to play guitar, I'm going to do this. So when I was up there, I'm doing like 20-minute versions of Are You Experienced by Jimi Hendrix and like putting the guitar on the ground and using my foot on the whammy bar and everything. And then like years later, I was looking at it, I was like, I could see how people might be like, okay, what's going on here. But at the time, it was such a release being able to do that. And it was a really exciting time. It really was.
And then that morphs into Last Left? Is that so? When about?
Well, so Blackfoot Jack, we kind of just started going a little bit different ways and everything, and different musical tastes and everything. Because Blackfoot Jack it was funny. We went through all the different flavors. We did the classic rock stuff in the beginning, and then we went through a hair metal phase, kind of, where we were doing like Dokken and Whitesnake and
nice,
Motley Crue and all that stuff. And yeah, that was cool. It was exciting. And then, at that point, Alex and Devin kind of bowed out, and Adam and I kept going, and that's when we had Meliani join, and Josh Crossman there came in.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And that's when we got into, what were we doing at the time? We got a little bit heavier. We started doing Deftones, and we started doing, which was a lot of fun. A lot of fun playing Deftones. It was a lot of fun singing Deftones, I'm not going to lie. But we started doing Deftones and Brand New and stuff like that, where I was getting to half, use some grit in my voice, and the other half, do the singing and everything, which was cool. So that was the final era of Blackfoot Jack there. And then when Keel the Puppet ended, when Steve passed, I didn't really have anything going on. And after Steve passed, I kind of went through this phase where I was wondering, because it was really different and strange to be in that musical world without him.
Right.
To look behind me and not see him on the drums, or not see, Adam on the drums even too. So it was strange. It was different, and I even contemplated at one point not continuing with music for a little bit. I was like, Steve's gone. I was like, that's a huge blow. And I'm not doing Blackfoot Jack right now. I'm like, so it's not my brother on the drums either. I'm like, this is all I didn't have much drive, I guess.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I lost interest, but I didn't have the drive to do it. And then, people told me, including my parents, they just told me, they go, Steve wouldn't want you to stop. He'd want you to continue going. He'd probably kick your ass if he knew you were even considering stopping. And I could hear his voice, telling me, get your shit together, get out there,
Yeah.
So that's when I met Tony Adamo. We were watching you guys. I think it was 12 North.
It had to have been 12 North. I remember that day like it was yesterday.
I think it was 12 North.
It's definitely 12 North.
That was when I was getting to know you guys. I've known Jose for a long time.
Sure, yeah.
I've known Jose for a while, and then I met Joe through him, and I met you through him, but I don't know at that point if I really knew you well or anything.
Yeah, we had just started
just
at
more
shows
hey,
having
hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Hi.
Right, yeah.
A jet. But so I ran into Tony Adamo there at 12 North. We were talking, and I had played with Tony at Blues Society jams and everything. And I had filled in with his band with Larry Gillio and Adam Bishton. And Pops came in and played bass with them too. Sour Mash, that's what they were called.
Yeah. Sour
Mash.
And we did a few gigs with them, and that was a lot of fun, And so when I ran into Tony, I'd always maintained like a friendship with him and stuff like that. We'd talk every now and then, be like, "Hey, hope everything's good with you. Yeah,
Sure,
same with
sure.
you. Take care." That kind of thing. So real deep conversation. But so when I ran into him at 12 North, we were talking. He's like, "What are you doing now?" I was like, "I'm not doing anything." I was like, "I don't have anything going on." And I was like, "What about you?" He's like, "I'm not doing anything." I was like, "Want to do something?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, cool.
Real deep, huh?
And just had
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
No, but
Call me
so
right, Jam.
so it went from there. He came over to the house, and we kind of threw together some songs that we would want to do, and that's when Last Left was, came about. And stylistically, we knew we wanted to do something that I hadn't done before, and he had some experience with it. But I wanted to do something that was more popular, that was going to get us more work, get us more, exposure, more gigs, more pay, all the stuff that comes with that. So that's when we started doing more radio-friendly stuff and everything that you would kind of hear, I guess, on a normal basis, stuff that people could sing and dance along to. Wonderwall, Jumper,
Right.
Only Want to Be With You, that 3 a.m., stuff like that. And
Stuff that gets people's heads going. Yeah.
the stuff that
that
everybody knows. And it's like, yeah, it's 3 a.m. I'm so lonely. I only want to be with you, though. Yeah. So yeah. that was when we started doing that, and then I booked. Numbnuts here. I booked a gig before we even really had anything set. We didn't even have a bass player at the time. So that's when I called up Jose and I was like, hey, I know you're really busy with your band, Showtime and all. You play out a lot. You want to do a gig with us up in Old Forge?
Leave those guys.
And he was like,
Yeah, right.
yep. He was like, yep, I'll do it, kid. He was like, yep. So
I'll do it, kid. Yeah.
He showed up
exactly.
and he looked at the list. He's like, I know a good amount of these already. I've played a good amount of them in the past and stuff. And he tackled the other ones and we did it. And it was Mike Peake, Tony Adamo, Jose, and myself.
That's the very first Last Left gig?
Yep.
Yes, and it was at Gigi's.
Yeah.
Yep, which was Greco's place there up in Old
And
Forge.
Tony said we were playing at Dakers that night too. So Jose came and played with you guys earlier
that
or
couldn't
something.
have been the case though, because our gig was at the same time as yours would have been.
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense then.
And
but
there would have been an overlap, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously Jose would have been like, yeah, "I'll do the first set with you." Then you guys just.
I for some reason I
Play
remember
with
being
yourselves.
up there, but I
Go
don't know.
acoustic.
Yeah, it's
No,
weird.
I don't think. I really don't think it was. I could
Yeah.
be wrong. I could be wrong. You know, but I mean,
Yeah, because the way that Tony made it out, it was like a happy hour thing or something, or it was like an earlier gig for something. But I don't know. Maybe it was the same time, and I mean, it's all blurry.
no, because it was summer, and I remember when we started, it was Rages the Sounds. It was pitch dark out, so I mean, it couldn't have been like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Tony drinks a lot.
Everything's so blurry.
He's a no, I'm kidding. That's horrible.
He's watching right now.
No, his school,
Yeah, of
his
course.
school district is watching right now, and they're like, "Really? Well." Sorry, Tony. That's not true. He drinks a lot of milk, and he's got really strong bones, calcium. Great dude. So that's when Last Left started,
I love it.
and then after, obviously we knew it wasn't going to be able to be a full time with Jose,
We
but
kicked
that's,
Jose right out of the band. That was it. First
what-
gig, you suck, man. You're out.
I was like, it's okay. You'll find work somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
No.
Best of luck to you.
So that's when I rang up my old friend Dave Miliani,
Oh, yeah.
who I've been fortunate enough to know since the age of 16, and he's just
On his own level when
What
it
a
comes
dude.
to bass playing.
yeah.
He is. He's on his
just
own
one of
level.
those dudes that, I mean, he doesn't care how it sounds, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. He's just like, give me the bass, let me play.
Right.
He puts it on, and all of a sudden it's just, a Seinfeld episode on speed 100. I mean, it's just, he goes off, and it's just nuts, and it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
so great to hear.
Uber talented.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, all right, well, the way he plays, I was like, we got to learn some Chili Peppers in the band now. And they were like, yeah, that's a given. We were like, we got to do that.
Right,
We got to
right.
work with our strengths here. So he was in the band, and that's when we started, doing like John Mayer, Chili Peppers, The Fray, different stuff like that. And then Steve Shane came along and played with us, which I've known Stevie since I was a little kid too. What a guy.
Yeah.
What a family. It's just such a good dude. Genuine person. And he was playing with us, and now we had another guitar player as well with us, and Mike Peake was still doing some keys and guitar. He would alternate between them. So we had a good lineup, and we were getting gigs, and we were busy, so that was cool. And that's how we started building the name, doing that.
And still, I mean, well, besides COVID, of course, but you're gigging a lot. Like,
Well, yeah,
you're out
yeah,
there
we were.
often and playing corporate parties and even weddings. And
Yep. Yeah, we
Christmas
were,
parties.
which is really, when you take a step back and look at it, it's really humbling.
Yeah.
To know, especially like something like a wedding and stuff like that, like that's one of the biggest days of somebody's lives. And if they trust you as being the entertainment for their night, for their day, that's a big thing right there.
for
you know,
sure.
so it is really humbling when you take a step back and look at it like that.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But we've been lucky, we get out there, we work hard, and the guys that I got right now it's the way it's been, with Steve Shepardson on drums. He's been with me for 7-8 years, maybe something like that. He's,
I feel like it's been so much longer than that. I mean, like
I
I,
do too.
swear to God,
I
I feel
do
like
too.
I feel like that. Like if you look at Sheppy and you, it's like you two are like a package deal. Like
he's like my brother.
Right. If Last Left were to end tomorrow, like the new band he would start, Sheppy would be right there, and it'd be like the two of them.
I
But we're
will
gonna have to build a band. You know what I mean?
I'll
Like,
say this, that even throughout the years, for the most part here, I've been, for the most part with the band, I've been fortunate to deal with the people that I've dealt with it. Tony
Yeah.
Adamo is, again, he's like a brother to me. He's one of the
Sure.
closest people. He's one of my closest friends. And Mike Peake, yeah, we had a little, falling out or differences, disagreements there, but, see him now or talk to him now, we still reach out and talk to each other. And
Absolutely.
he's a good dude, and it's just Steve Shane, another person. What a good dude to have around. Just a positive attitude and always wanting to play and ready to go and everything, and then, getting to work with Dave. One of my, again, another really close friend of mine,
Yeah.
and that I've known since 16. Just awesome.
Yeah.
And then Steve Shepardson, again,
yep.
and Jeff Dingman, he's playing with us now, and I've gotten really close with him. What a guy.
Yeah.
And
Good player too.
yeah, he is, and he's really intelligent and smart, and in the way that he approaches everything.
Yeah.
With sounds and everything, he's a big reason as to why we get to cover a lot of the songs that we do.
Sure.
And then Frankie Grimaldi was with us for a period of time there. He was helping us out and filled in for as long as he could, but then we were gigging so much to the point to where he was like, oh, this is a lot.
Yeah.
And he was, just
boys are
recently married and everything, and he had to, establish the family roots and everything.
And your dad played with you for a while too. With he would fill in between bass players and stuff, and that was cool to see too. It's always
because Dave had to bow out for a bit because he was doing a lot of driving work and everything, and he was really busy. And that's when we started picking up work even more. So that's when Pops jumped in and was like, "I got it, I'll do bass." And he was with us for a while, and then Dave came back, and. So yeah, I've been fortunate for the most part with the relationships that I've gotten to build with these people in the band.
Who's playing bass now?
Kevin Sullivan.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
I forgot.
And that's talk about relationships again. He's such another just honest, genuine dude. He's just such a good dude. And I knew him through the brewery and stuff like that, but never knew him well. And obviously he's really close with Dave, so I knew him through that as well, but never knew him. And now within the last year here, getting to know him, he's just such a good dude.
Yeah, he really is.
Solid bass player. He's got a great head on his shoulders, and he's just, he keeps me at an even keel, level head, and everything. And he's just. It's great having him in there. So it's Steve Shepardson still, Jeff Dingman still, Kevin Sullivan on the bass, and then so
that's the lineup right now.
And Pop's running sound.
And Pop's always running sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good, man. Very good. Now I want to switch it up a little bit. I got a little surprise for Justin. I do. I got a little surprise for him. Right. I had to dig through the archives a little bit. So back when we first started Disruption Network, well, it was not right when we first started. We started the beginning of 2017. Yeah, so it was right around the beginning. You came in on, and I've been going through the archives, so I know it's December 6th, 2017 was the date you came in here. And
3 years ago yesterday.
3 years ago yesterday. When we were in the other room, little studio in there, and you came in. Well, trying to remember who wrote the lyrics. I want to say it was Maria Valise.
Yeah.
And Gia. I think so. I don't know. And I'm sorry, whoever wrote the lyrics to this song. If it wasn't them two, it was somebody else. But I apologize right now. But they wrote the lyrics, the 12 Days of Utica Christmas.
There was a lot of beer involved that day, too.
It was a lot of fun that day.
Yeah.
And Justin sang it for us. So I dug through the archives, and here we are.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a trolley at the brewery. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
Mind you, it's all Justin.
2 hockey gloves and a trolley at the brewery. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 turkey joints, 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me, everybody, 5 chicken riggies, 4 turkey joints, 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery. On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 snowstorms coming, 5 chicken riggies, 4 turkey joints, 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery. On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 children's games, 6 storms are coming, 5 chicken riggies, 4 turkey joints, 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery. On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 8 train cars trucking, 7 children skiing, 6 storms are coming, 5 chicken riggies, 4 turkey joints, 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery. On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9 ladies dancing, 8 train cars chugging, 7 children skiing, 6 storms is coming, 5 chicken riggies, 4 turkey joints, 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery. On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 lords are drinking, 9 ladies dancing, 8 trains are traveling, 7 children skiing, 6 5 chicken rings. The song's still fucking good. 4 turkey joints, 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery.
You showed the video to her?
On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 cannolis singing, 10 lords are drinking, 9 ladies dancing, 8 trains are chugging, 7 children skiing, 6 snorms are coming, 5 chicken riggies, 4 turkey joints, 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 tomato pies, 11 cannolis singing, 10 lords are drinking, 9 ladies dancing, 8 trains, cars chugging, 7 chicken training, 6 snowstorms coming, 5 chicken riggies, 4 turkey joints, 3 Italian cookies, 2 hockey gloves, and a trolley at the brewery.
Justin Smithson, ladies and gentlemen.
Dear Lord.
The way it started out, it was like a Barry White Christmas. Like, I felt I was like half going to get seduced and half get the Christmas spirit, and then it went off. It just,
It was so fun. I don't know why I decided to do it that way, because I knew I'd fall off the rails at the end. Like I was like,
and you did.
I was trying
but
to.
you held it together for a while.
For a
and
while,
I feel like,
great.
how long can you remember like what voice you did for what number? And
I got to like 11 before I started to really forget.
Yeah.
Well, you'd remember at the end, like you were like 7 children skiing.
Exactly. Yeah, I would remember at the end.
His Peter Brady moment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Thanks. Yeah.
You did great, bro. You did.
The things you do while being under the influence of UC.
Yeah. Yeah. That's back when we used to do the show for like 3 hours.
Oh,
I'm like looking at it like it was a 3-hour radio show.
I think when you told me, you're like, here, look this up and go to like 2 hours and 56. I'm like, what the hell?
That's only the first verse. There's a second verse. Go ahead, no.
Take it away.
I like to say that's 3.5 minutes you'll never get back, ladies and gentlemen.
It's actually 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
3 minutes and 35 seconds too long.
You knocked it out of the park. You know what was funny, Spencer, is the next day I had Ryan Quinn come in and do the same song, but we played Justin's version before, and he's like, I can't.
Can't do that.
I can't do that. That's
He's in character.
tough shoes to fill.
Due to the UC there.
Yeah, it was definitely due to the UC.
I don't know why, but for some reason I'm picturing you in like different costumes, like doing each one though.
Oh my God, we should have done a video for that. That would have been great.
He's got like braids or pigtails for like the little kids skiing.
I'd
or
like to
something
see the Uncle Louie guys do a video to that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Did you ever see the? I can't remember if it's Funny or Die or not, but Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly do the David Bowie, Bing Crosby.
Yes. Oh my God, I did see that.
No.
Yeah.
But I would love
They
that.
nailed-
the
well, you
Peace
remember the
on
Bing?
Earth, the
Yeah,
little drummer
yes.
boy. Yeah.
Well, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly do it, and they do it
Oh, my
perfectly.
God,
They get
you'll
all
cry.
the mannerisms down, like the voices and everything. Like,
You'll
they
absolutely
nail it.
cry.
It's great.
I
Yeah.
gotta check that out.
It was right after Step Brothers, wasn't it? Or
Yeah,
right
I
around
think
the
it
time
was
of
right
that?
around the time of
Something like that.
Oh
So
my God, that was
it's fantastic.
hilarious.
It's fantastic.
I have to check that out. You did good though, bud. I think that was good. You think you can reincarnate that, or
Someday.
maybe one day?
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see what's up. I had to go searching for that one.
Get the beer.
I know.
Yeah, we got a lot of beer now.
Here, give me a second. I'm going to go pound about 10 of these. I'll do it right now.
I think that's how it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I think that's how it was, man.
So anyway,
Christmas.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe Christmas is here? Don't even feel like it. It still feels like March.
No.
like we were talking about earlier, you know, it felt like literally it felt like your album came out last year. You said it, I said it, and you're like, no, it was March, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Because it really legit feels like it was last year that you know.
And I said to you guys here, you know, it doesn't even feel like Christmas, at least because I know, like, for years now we've been doing Christmas parties.
Yeah.
And that usually signals, like, okay, start of the Christmas season. Like we said, you see all the red, green,
Yeah.
gold, and high school lights, everything like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's not any Christmas parties, you know, going on with live entertainment or anything, or no Christmas parties going on, probably, period. So
Yeah.
it's just, it's different. But You gotta make the best of it. Nothing
Yep.
you can do.
I think we say this every Monday is like when this is all said and done and the Corona Coaster ends, we are having a bash.
Oh, yeah,
we're gonna
big
have
time.
one big old local music bash, maybe at Proctor Park or some shit, or maybe
Yeah.
at Stanley or
Yeah,
I don't know.
that'd be awesome. I think
Proctor
figure it
Park,
out.
that would
I think
be
people-
sick.
Wouldn't
The
that be
festival
great?
stage up there and just
People would appreciate
Insane.
that.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would
I think everybody needs
need it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
Everybody
definitely.
needs it. Shout out to everybody that's watching over there on Facebook. We got a few people. If you are watching over there
Nice.
on Facebook, click the share button. Help spread the word of Local Music Monday and Showtime and Last Left and Spencer and Justin and me. And like we've got a lot of
Yay.
things going on just amongst this room right here.
Sure.
Our unofficial sponsors checking in.
Who's that?
Do you-
Oh, sorry.
yeah. Our unofficial sponsors checking in. He actually was digging.
Who, hand sanitizer? Girl?
He was digging your 12 Days of Christmas. I think
Oh,
everybody
boy.
out there was digging it. They said it was classic. So,
Oh, shit. Wait, can I just say, Sheppy just came out of her throat. You know I'm always the little spoon.
What? Well, I always thought it was weird, when we would go do road trips and everything like that, and we'd have to stay in a hotel. We'd get a room with 2 beds, yet I'd wake up the next morning and he was in the bed with me. Thought I was cuddling a pillow, but turns out it was my drummer. No, I'm
Shabby.
kidding.
he's always the little spoon.
Always. Come on.
Yeah, we have to give
I do
a
make him
huge-
wear a wig, though. So I just run my hands through it.
A huge shout out to our unofficial Local Music Monday sponsor, Mr. Tim Moyer. Hello, Tim.
Hello, Tim.
Hello, Tim. Hello, Tim.
And it started out as like this funny thing because we would just like as you're talking, like it's almost like the 7 what things with Kevin Bacon. What do they call that? The 7
7 degrees of separation.
7 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon. But you could almost do 7 degrees of separation with Tim Moyer with every local band in the community. You know,
can.
there's some kind of story that somebody has with Tim, whether it be good or bad or indifferent.
I think locally it'd be like 3 degrees of separation.
Yeah, I know. I think it would be 3. Yeah,
Be very
Yeah.
small.
yeah.
Way less than 7.
I remember there was a time when you just like you'd throw something and hit a Moyer somewhere in a band.
Also, gotta give a shout out to Roy Costins. He's watching too.
Oh, nice.
What's up, Roy? We gotta get Roy on the show. I know
Definitely.
we've talked to him about coming on, and he's another shredder out there that's doing it. But he was playing in Love Bone at the time.
I was going to say, yeah, we were
Yeah,
talking about him earlier.
Chuck
In Love Bone,
Heath
because that
and-
was my 3rd show. 33 Hertz and Love Bone.
your third
For the
show.
concert series for life.
Yeah. Which actually you could still find on YouTube right now.
Yes.
They're
Somebody
on YouTube.
sent me that link a few years ago, and I was
Yep.
just showing it to somebody about a month and a half ago. I was showing it to her so she could see
Mm-hmm.
the, 15-year-old me up there and everything. So it was, but
That
it's,
was,
it's still cool to watch because
yeah.
it's just, I'm not going to lie, it brings comfort to see Steve up there doing his thing again. But
Yeah.
it's just awesome to see, that moment in time. And, and it was just really cool. It was just, what
I
an
got to go on and
experience.
look for it now because I know that
I think it was just Keel the Puppet, Utica, New York, and it should come up.
yeah,
or something
definitely.
like
I got to
that,
look it
yeah.
up because we did another day. I think we did the day that Plastic Solo was there. Or,
You did.
no,
Poor
our-
Tim played, right?
Poor Tim played.
Yeah.
It was one of our very first gigs together. Like I know that was like it was like we just started gigging at the Valley Brook when Sean overtook my solo gig. That was the first. That's how we started. Like I was supposed to play solo at the Valley Brook. I just left Showtime, which stupid mistake. But anyway, I just left Showtime and I was going to go out on my own, and
Going solo, man.
going solo.
Was that when you did the album, though?
It was shortly before I did the album that I started, and I went in. My first gig was at the Valley Brook, and I went there, and Sean's like leaning over the railing, and he's like, "You're late," and I'm like, "For what?" I'm like, "It's my gig, dude." He's like, "My shit's already set up. Get in there." And it was like Tim Britt was going to sit in with me, and we were just going to have fun and whatever. And I walk in, and here's Tim set up there. Sean's in the middle, and there's your spot. I'm like, okay. Apparently, I'm not doing this solo anymore. And I literally, legit, never played a solo gig as long as I was away from Showtime.
It's always fun with people, though. You get that
oh
camaraderie,
my god,
you
dude,
get
I
the
loved
chemistry.
it. I
it's
loved
just-
everything about it. So it was like, it was cool to do, and the time that I got to spend with Sean and stuff. But it was back to you though. It was really cool that was like all happening around the same time. Like, you were coming up in the scene, and I was starting out on a new project. It was just, it's like it was cool. It's cool to think about that, and I could place like where I was, during the time you were growing up. So
I gotta say, and this story came back to me the other day. I thought of it when you guys asked me to be on here today. I remember how Blackfoot Jack got into the electric company. I was reaching out to you, and I was like, oh, I want to play here. I want to play here. Here it's a great music venue. We want to play here.
Was I a dick?
No.
Oh.
No, because you actually told me to come down. You were like, come down, do an open mic night, only because I don't know anything about you guys. I never heard you, I just want to make sure, before I give you a night, so come down. And you were like, I'll make sure I'll be there. And we went down to an open mic night. We got up there and we did 3 songs, and you made sure you were there, you know. And I think I went up and introduced myself before it, and then at the end, you know, you gave us a bunch of gigs, and it was awesome. We got up there and we did. What did we do? I think we did a Judas Priest song. We did Alice Cooper. We did, and I think Wolfmother maybe or something like that. Cool. And you came up to us after, and it was
You realized at the start of that story you were nervous because it could have went either way, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm thinking, oh man.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh God, I don't remember that.
Everybody's got that. Though.
You got a lot of those.
Yeah, trust me.
So do I.
So do I. But that's the thing though, is you live and you learn from it. That's the only, and now that I'm getting older, like that's something I kind of realized. You know, I remove myself from those situations and I look back, and there's tons of things you do that you regret, and tons of things you do.
No regrets.
You shoot your mouth off, and there's just different things. You know, I know all about that. But the only thing you can do is, you know,
we all do.
You learn from it. You move on, and you make peace with it, and you just make sure it doesn't happen again. You know, you try not to let it drag you down or weigh you down. You know?
Learn from it.
You don't give power to it. You don't give longevity to it.
Sure.
So that's the important thing with that. But no.
He's growing up right before.
I can't even stand it. I can't even stand it.
But no, so thank you for that. And we still got pictures.
I don't even remember that, but that's cool.
We got pictures at the house of us playing at the EC and everything too. And it was just, that was always a venue we were really looking forward to because we knew our set list would fit there. You know, and I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I wish that venue was still around. I'm sure a lot of people do,
absolutely.
because now, especially now, well, now that I'm doing the original music, and you were like looking back now in the state of mind that I'm in, obviously now and everything that I'm at, you were hugely supportive for original music, and you still are. Yeah. But back then, you were hosting all these original music things, and I was like, that was the perfect venue for it, you know. And it's just I appreciate now, especially, you know, that I'm in the middle of trying to doing it, you know, the original music venues that are out there and the places that are willing to have original music and stuff, you know. And,
few and far between.
I got to do Copper City Brewery last week.
I love that place.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my God. And Dan and Mike, they're just awesome dudes.
Yeah.
Awesome guys, and they're so supportive, and they reached out to me to play there, and you know, I did a 2-hour set, and a majority of it I got to do my original.
So cool.
And then I got to pull out some random covers that I never really do. Like I got to do The Cure, Radiohead, The Clash, some different stuff, like a Tom Petty B-side, and then the rest was original music.
That's awesome, man.
And I was like, I don't get to do this. I was like, this is really cool. And it went well. It went great, you know. So I mean,
I think the breweries are like the new craft breweries like that are original music that's like the gateway now. Yeah. To where like they're going to be supporting original music, and like, you know, your commercial bars and stuff are, you know, still going to do the cover thing. But it seems like there's a lot of breweries around here that really support, you know, original music, which is great, you know. And people are going to these breweries to listen to that. You know, they're searching it out, and they're like, okay, well, we know that place has original music, so which is cool. When back in the day, I mean, we really just had the EC, you know, and it was like the EC was like one of those things that, like, well, for everything, it's like you think you're in a period of time where this is how it's going to be forever. It's never going to change. We're always going to have the EC. It's always going to be a blast. Every night's going to be ended up with Z playing, you know, air hockey against somebody, or, you know, something, you know, whatever that thing that you used to do with bubble hockey with leaving. You know what I mean? It was like it was just those things that you just like.
I miss bubble hockey too.
Yeah, right. That moment in time though that you just like you think, okay, this is how it's going to be now, and it's never going to evolve from here. And then like, you know, but it's
all good things come to an end.
Sure.
They do.
Well, you realize that now. I mean, I'm sure you do now as you get older. You kind of realize that, like, you know, I think when you're younger, you're trying to live so much for the moment that it's just, you know, it's hard to realize. You know, I've seen bars come and go, like especially bars that I called like my own hangouts. You know, like, come and go, and like you're like, man, I can't believe that they closed down. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself at a new bar and you're making new friends, and and you almost forget about that bar that closed down, and that, you know. Then when you think about it, you think of memories and stuff, and you're like, oh, I remember playing there, and I remember how it used to be, and you recall it fondly, you know, rather than, damn, that freaking place closed, you know. But
yeah, man. Yeah, Spencer, you're at the age now too where you can reflect now. I mean, mid-30s now?
No, 30.
You're 30, right? Right
just
at 30?
Turned 30 in June.
Yeah, so now you can reflect, and plus you were that kid playing in high school and then going to class the next day after playing the gig at 2 a.m. probably smelling like smoke and all that.
Well, I know the concert series for Life Night there. I had school the next day.
You did?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and that's, it happened a few times, you know, and it might have even happened a couple times that we had a party during the day.
Were you going?
And I might have had to get a doctor's note or a note to get out of school, or Spencer has an appointment. He needs to leave.
Were you going to school bragging to your friends? Like, I had a gig.
Not really.
You know?
Not really. It was just one of those things that I felt was really special, but I didn't think it was something that I needed to or wanted to like put out there, you know, because I didn't think it was going to get me anywhere or do anything, you know, and I wasn't looking to really do that. But I was lucky to have friends that, you know, would try to come out if they could. So when it was an event or, you know, we were playing something that they could come out to, like a car night or, you know, a parking lot thing, or they would come and they would check it out, you know, and they were supportive. They liked that. You know, and then when I got older and stuff and all my friends, you know, were able to get into the bars, and it was a different story.
Yeah,
you know?
sure.
But
I think you had a message from one of your relatives, Marilyn Sheridan.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
Uncle
Aunt.
Guy, they're listening.
Uncle
right now.
Guy and Aunt Marilyn.
give 'em a shout
wow.
That's
Hello there. The biggest Beatles fan and the biggest Neil Young fan I know. So
That's great.
Good.
yeah, it's where I got my love for both of those artists from. So
See, your
see,
family.
and they're always supportive too. They've been coming from the start, you know, and they knew Keel the Puppet obviously back in the day and everything too. And my mom grew up with Steve, so she knew Steve from kids. And so obviously my Uncle Guy knew him and everything. And then, you know, Aunt Mary and Uncle Guy would always come out to shows and everything too. And I've been Blackfoot Jack shows, and they still come out to Last Left shows and acoustic shows too. So, you know,
That's great.
I got supportive family. And then my Uncle Kevin and Aunt Joni, they come out to shows, you know. And yeah, so it's just, you know, my Aunt Janet comes out to shows. My grandfather was actually coming out to shows, you know, when he was still here and everything. And it was cool. You know, he would come to a place like the Savoy or something when we were playing there. You know, and it'd be strange every now and then doing windmills or jumping up and then looking out and seeing like, my grandfather out there and being like, you know, but it was really cool to know that he was there, you know, and that he was supportive of it and stuff. And, you know, I remember doing a show that he was there, and I made sure we threw in something that would stylistically kind of go for him. And I think we did a Sinatra tune or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or we did Moon Dance or something a little jazzier, a little smoother and stuff, you know, because try to touch on all that.
Your family installed some good musical values into you. That's for damn sure.
Well, so that's the thing is growing up, you know, obviously, you know, I was kind of a chameleon with all this music, and I was just kind of soaking it all up and around me. And music was always on in the house. And my mom was big on like Peter Gabriel, U2, and Prince. So that's where I got those from. And then my dad was Led Zeppelin and Genesis, Jimi Hendrix and Marvin Gaye. That's where I got those from. And my brother went through a ton of different changes. So I got everything from him, from Nine Inch Nails and Rob Zombie to The Doors, Velvet Underground, you know, Iggy Pop, different stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I started discovering those artists that I loved, and I started looking at, you know, different things. Who were they influenced by? Who did they influence? Who produced them? Who else did that producer work with? And that's how I kind of discovered all these other artists at the same time. And so I was lucky to get all this different stuff. And my grandmother, when
Soak it all in, brother. Be the sponge.
yeah, and my grandmother, I remember she used to play Sinatra in the car all the time when I was a little kid. And she'd pick me up from school if it was like a half day, and I'd go over to her apartment complex there and everything. And she'd always play Sinatra when I was in the car, and I always liked it. It was always really just soothing and comforting, and I couldn't put my finger on why. I was just like, this is cool. You know, and then years ago, I rediscovered my love for Sinatra all over again, and I was like, this is, So, I don't know, it's just, you listen to everything, and that's something that my family's kind of instilled in me. A good song is a good song. It doesn't matter what genre it is. You know, it really doesn't.
No.
You know, you don't have to label it.
Yeah.
Good song is a good song.
We
What does it
talked
matter?
about that last week about genre labeling.
Way too many genres nowadays.
Well, there's
There is,
so much going on, and we were talking about it even at the Last Left practice, and we were like, we were talking the other night about bands that they threw into like grunge. Like they were like, Alice in Chains is grunge. I was like, how are you going to throw Alice in Chains in the same label as like Nirvana, you know, and say that they're all grunge? I was like, at the same time, at the end of the day, that's just rock.
They're
rock,
just
rock and roll
right.
music is what that was. You know what I mean? It was just
That's where it evolved.
that's what all of them were. You know, Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains, Nirvana, STP, Soundgarden, Bush. You know, all those bands
90s
right
rock.
at that time. That was rock, rock and roll. You know, but then you got into all the alternative, indie, and all this stuff, and it was like, okay, please stop. There's like 37 different subcategories for just this subcategory right here.
Right.
You know, but
Although my favorite subcategory now is bro country. I love that. That label is so funny. I love that label.
I like
bro country.
I've been recently getting into the Celtic Latin jazz hip hop genre.
Oh my God, dude, you too?
It's fantastic. It's so good.
Love the percussion.
Oh my God, and the yodeling. Wait, no, but
You're hilarious.
so it's just they taught me to listen to everything, you know, and really just don't put up any boundaries as to what you'll listen to. And that's
Have
why
an open ear and open mind.
exactly, and that's what, you know, that's why I think I can go from Nine Inch Nails to Frank Sinatra to, you know, Kid Cudi, and you know, all within 3 songs of each other or whatever.
Right.
It's just
And somehow mash them all in together in a song.
yeah, but you appreciate them, and that's what I was talking to even Shep about the other night. I was like, you know, Nine Inch Nails. I was like, somebody like Trent Reznor, whether he's your cup of tea or not, the guy's a genius.
Oh, absolutely.
I go, the guy's a genius. I was like, you know, whether you like him or not, that's the guy. You know, I love him for me, and that's part of what Dave and I clicked about. you know, is Dave and I would listen to like Nine Inch Nails and Deftones and stuff like that on the way to gigs. We were listening to stuff that Last Left wasn't playing because we
Right.
played all that stuff all the time. We were like, let's listen to stuff we
Sure.
don't play.
Yeah.
You know, and we listen to soundtrack music, you know, Clint Mansell, Danny Elfman, Hans Zimmer, you know, people like that. And then Nine Inch Nails and stuff would be like, yeah. And then we get up on stage and be like, your body is the wonderland. And in my head, I'm like, headlock a hole. No, so it's just, no, it's, yeah. I like to think that a lot of people out there are similar mindset, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to think, you know, and if you look from years ago when the certain bands and artists and groups that got popular, it was even artists that like I wouldn't have expected to get popular, like Mumford and Sons.
Right.
Who would have thought a folk band like that, literally like stomp, clap, you know,
Yeah.
would get as popular as they did, and they blew up. You know,
Oh,
Little
yeah.
Lion Man in the Cave and all that, and then Lumineers and all those bands, they blew up and they're huge now. And that's not a genre that you probably would have thought would have blown
Right,
up.
right.
But you know, I'm so glad it has because it's produced some of the most authentic songwriting
Yeah.
and genuine
Oh, sure.
songwriting out there.
Great point.
I
And
like
when
to
you
think. I like to think it's all like we're like the kids growing up too. It's like all where their heads at.
Yes.
Is what becomes popular at that time.
Yes.
I mean, you think about it. Like think about like when Nirvana all that stuff happened. Like '90s kids were like kind of pissed off. You
Oh,
know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
It was like anti-establishment, like all that stuff. Rage Against the Machine, like all that stuff, and like that's the music that became popular.
Yes.
And then you had like the chill like 2010s, you know, where it was like you know Lumineers and
Yep.
and Mumford and Sons, and like everybody's chill and
Well,
you know what I
that's-
mean. And it's like it kind of follows where the kids are at
It's-
any given time, like where
It does.
mainstream radio is.
it bums me out when people say, you know, rock is dead or rock is just so down and stuff like that because I mean same time it's not. You do some looking, you're gonna find some great rock bands out there.
Oh,
It might
yeah.
not be the rock bands or rock and roll bands that you think, but I mean you can't overlook acts like the War on Drugs or the National or Arcade Fire or Kings of
love
Leon or
Arcade
the
Fire.
Killers. Arcade Fire is great. They're phenomenal.
Yep.
And their last album was so Talking Heads influenced and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
really just awesome stuff. But I mean like you know, when I went and saw Kings of Leon live, great show.
Yeah,
Phenomenal
sure.
show. And then Mumford and Sons live, the energy was just fantastic.
Yeah, you wouldn't think you get that too, like listening to them. You know, you wouldn't.
No,
think, I mean, you
and
think-
that's
yeah,
and when
you
I saw the
feel that
Killers, the same thing. The
kick drum and
Killers is
stuff,
probably
yeah,
one of the
it's
best
cool.
shows I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, I want to see them live.
They were
They're on my
fantastic.
bucket
They
list.
were fantastic. I
Yep.
saw them at the Garden, and it was just what a show. And they covered the Cars there.
Yeah,
You know, and that's what you know. They're another band that takes in all those influences and just produces them out. You know, because they get the Springsteen thing, they get Depeche Mode,
Yeah.
The Cure, they get all those. You know, and
Yeah,
that's,
those are the bands I gravitate towards, like rock wise. Is the bands you hear that, like what they're pulling from. You know,
Yes.
you can hear that influence.
Oh, it's always interesting
Yeah.
to do that too. It's always really interesting to pull it out.
Yeah, right on, man. We got a couple more people I want to give a shout out to. Bob Stafford's checking in. He's saying, remember Myron's in Rome. Do you remember Myron's in Rome? Do you remember that spot?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah,
You got a
I
story
played there.
from there?
Yeah, I mean, like Lenny Jr. when he first started coming out, Lenny Milano Jr. started coming out to see Showtime play. He had to have been like 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
Fake ID, you know, they all did. I mean, like even like when I was 18, 19, you
We
know,
all have.
we all have, you know, but like yeah, but he would go and sneak in there and like. They all got like arrested one night or something. Like something happened where they got busted or whatever, and we had to play the next week there. And he showed up with another fake ID to come see us play. And like he just told me this story the other day, but that's why it made me giggle with Myron's because like we played there all the time. I mean that bar was awesome. We used to love it.
It was a fun
And,
place.
yeah, they used to have like cars all the way down 233. They used to go up all the way around. It was cops would show up just to tell people to move their cars. It was awesome.
Jim Bob is saying Kenna wants a shout out.
Hi, Kenna. I thought you were napping. I'm sorry. Hello, Kenna.
Is that your niece?
Yes. Yep. She just turned 3, so yep. She likes me
Happy
still.
birthday.
Oh.
Happy belated.
She might say thank you. She might be shy. She's shy with a lot of people. So, hi, Kenna. How
Also,
are you?
give a shout out to Eddie, my man Eddie, from the Fitness Mill, and big ups to the people over at the Fitness Mill. They launched a new podcast here yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Sweating for the wedding. They found a couple that's going to work out till their wedding all the way till next spring,
wow.
next summer or whatever, and we're going to follow their journey right here on the D. So
That's awesome.
that's happening
love it.
on Sunday, monthly. We're going to do it monthly on a Sunday, so it should be interesting. We got to mention, and I hate to bring the mood down, but rest in peace, Freddie
Oh,
Pepperata.
my God. Yeah, no, we
and
have
my
to mention that. We
condolences
have to
go
talk
out to
about
the
it.
whole Pepperata family. A huge loss to our community, our music community. He was such a great guy, a shining light. Always had a joke. He always had a smile. He loved to entertain. He was such a good man, and we're definitely going to miss that man for sure. And I know you spent some good time with him doing
Yeah.
the Kelly's Christmas album and whatnot, right,
Yeah,
Justin?
yeah, we did 5 years of it. It was pretty spectacular. And I mean, to listen to the old stories. And I mean, we would be sitting there. I remember like sitting there, and Freddie and Joe Sr. would sit. And every time somebody would walk in, they would have like photo albums and stuff. And I remember times when I'd be like, guys, can you take it out in the other room or something? We're trying to record here. They're like, oh, I remember that time. Yeah, that was great. And and now I look back at it, and I'm like, I know that like we were in like crunch time, so we were trying to get the album done. But just, I mean, I would wait to hear the end of the story before I'd say something, because I just wanted to know, But I mean, just listen to those old stories, and those guys, man. I mean, they used to go on the road for, your dad can attest to that. Go on the road for a week at a time and come back. You know what I mean? And like, it's just to hear all those stories and all those fun times that they all had jumping around all over the place. I
mean, the golden era of live music there.
Sure.
They used to do,
Definitely.
and Pops tells me the stories of like Wednesday through Sundays.
Yeah.
And I was like, on a Wednesday, and he's like,
Just
yeah. He
in
goes, it'd
Utica
be-
alone,
yeah,
too.
yeah. And he goes, it'd be a good night. He goes, and then the weekends would be mobbed. He goes, but they would have us each night because people would go out. They would go to see where the live bands were playing and stuff.
Yeah.
And, when Pops found out yesterday, it was tough. Pops has known him forever too,
Yeah.
and Freddie was just such a. We were talking about it briefly earlier. He's just such a genuinely warm person.
Yeah.
He just, and before I even knew him, Last Left was playing a Christmas party at Vernon Downs, and we took a set break, and we went out to the gaming floor, to the bar there, and Freddie's band was playing their Soul Injection, and we got out there, and we were just standing in the back corner. As soon as he saw us, he gave us a shout-out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never met this guy.
Right,
and I look
right.
at Pops, and he was like, nice guy. And I go, yeah. I go, that was really cool. I go, I never met him. I hadn't met him at that point.
Yeah.
But I got to know him a little bit through the Stanley shows there, the British Invasion tribute, the Woodstock tribute, and everything. And what a guy! He
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
He
loved doing all those too. Like he would talk about that a lot.
He was just, and he was just such a warming person. I mean, he would come up next to me, like I'd be standing off to the side just listening to people, and he'd come up next to me and like put his hand on my shoulder and be like, and he would talk to me for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And it was like, he just gave you that feeling like I've known this guy for so long, haven't I? But I didn't know him for that long,
He
but
always had that respect for everybody, though. That's just how he was.
he was very encouraging of everybody, and he had this personality and this presence, even for the rehearsals for those things. When he would walk into the room, it was just. He'd bring everything up. Everybody would start smiling and be like, Freddie's here.
Yeah,
Freddie.
exactly.
And it was just huge blow for the music community, but not just the music community, just the area in general for losing such a genuinely good person.
And my heart breaks for guys like that knew him for a long time, like your dad and Joey's dad and stuff that, they knew him before we were even born.
Yeah.
So it's like, like as sad as I am, I can't imagine how they feel, the fact that they've known him for 40 years, you know what I mean? 50 years, however long. But it's just...
We're lucky to have known him, though, and had the interactions, especially,
Absolutely.
And, I mean, you getting to work with him for years.
Yeah.
And, luckily I did get to have interactions with him and get to know him a little bit, and what a guy,
I never even realized either what an incredible guitarist he was. Did you even know
No.
that? Like, he's like, dude,
I knew he played a little bit because I saw him, pick some up, but I didn't know he was,
Outstanding. And I remember, we're like, why don't you just play rhythm guitar on this track? And he's like, no, get somebody else in to play it. He was
He'd
saying
rather
like
sing.
that. He'd rather sing,
Yeah.
Well,
no.
And as a frontman, what a great personality too.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had this rock and soul thing mixed with a crooner thing.
Sure.
He would have the audiences in the palm of his hand.
He had
just
his own
that,
thing.
He had that personality, and he had
He
it
would
down.
come walking out. I always loved seeing him at gigs, like big gigs like that in the showroom, and things,
Yes.
because he would come walking out of the dressing room, and he was that guy, like that Vegas act that you
with
would
the
just
button-up shirt down.
Yeah,
and
you'd
everything.
look and you'd be like, oh my god, if you didn't know that guy, you'd be like, he's famous.
Famous
There's something,
personality.
there's something famous. I mean, but he had that. That's how he was all the time, and but seeing all the Facebook pictures that he would do and stuff that would make you laugh. I mean, just he was just always
rocking the shades.
always rocking the shades too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love you, Freddie, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Freddie. Thanks for the years and entertaining all of us here in the 315 and beyond, and for so many years. And Soul Injection was a phenomenal band.
Yes.
Getting those guys, and he had such a big booming voice.
Yeah.
You can hear him. You can hear him and know
Soothing.
that's Freddie.
Smooth
Smooth,
voice
yeah.
too, and everything. It was just.
Yeah, definitely a huge loss for the community. My condolences to the whole Pepperata family,
Yes.
and they're all super talented too. I know
All of
so
them,
many
yeah.
of them. Like, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
That it's a big family. So.
Yeah.
My condolences to all of them, but sorry to bring the mood down, but we had to mention the guy's a
yeah,
freaking
you can't not
legend.
mention
You know,
that. I mean,
he's
you
a
gotta mention
freaking
him.
legend in my eyes. He is. So
No, I feel like every musician around here was feeling the same.
Yeah.
Feeling the same thing. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
if you
was
got
sad.
to interact with them at all.
Yeah.
I saw Jerry Krause's post yesterday about how he nailed the blood, sweat, and tears at the Senior Night
did?
All-Star thing.
Oh, it was fantastic.
He nailed it. He knocked it out of the park.
It was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, but people didn't have any doubt. Nobody was surprised because people had no doubt about it. They were like,
Right.
Freddie's going to nail this. He's going to kill it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, when he did, it was just like that comfort thing of where you were like, yeah, he delivered.
Yeah.
Of course he delivered. You know. So
it was such a fun thing to see him turn it on when he'd get in front of an audience. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He would just turn it on. It didn't matter.
I saw a great comment from Mark Sistai.
Yeah.
And his post, his comment was everything got better when Freddie walked into the room.
True story.
Oh yeah,
And it's
100%.
so,
Yeah, just what you said there.
100%.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything got better.
No, it's
But
I've been lucky to interact with a lot of those guys through my father and meet a
Yeah.
lot of those guys. And it's
so
just-
many, man.
So many of them are genuine, and so many
Yeah.
I've had great interactions with. And I mean, the Sistai brothers, Dan Allen, Mark, and then obviously Jerry Krause and everything. It's just
Yeah.
such great guys and so much to learn from all of them.
Right.
And,
This leads me to this question because I ask this pretty much every Monday.
ooh.
If we were to do a local music hall of fame, which I think we really need to, dude. We've been
I
talking
agree.
about this for so long now. Who would be in your inaugural list?
Oh God! Well, I mean,
who
you're
would you
asking the
pick?
product to kill the puppet, so I mean,
Right, what-
I feel like I'm biased with that, but I mean,
And look a
obviously,
little bit outside of that.
I
too.
mean, yeah. So I mean, obviously, I would say that Keel the Puppet, the Frogs, Holiday, the Galemies there.
yeah,
I mean,
the
how can you
Galemies.
not mention I mean, just come on, everything they did. Paul Angerosa on his own as well.
Vinny and the Butchers.
Yes.
Sorry,
absolutely.
I'm trying.
No,
I can't
please.
stop. I can't stop.
No,
Everybody
Hey,
mentions Angel
it's
Rosa
an
right off the bat.
open
too.
for him.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Everybody throw it out there,
Yeah.
But no, it's I mean, the list goes on and on, and you see it when you get to be in the place with these
Mm-hmm.
musicians. I mean, Dean and Vinny.
Yeah.
How can you not mention that with Preacher and everything what those guys did? How
Target.
could they not be in? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's
and Carmen Carmonica. That's
Carmen
another one
Carmonica's
that we say
100%
all the
in
time,
there.
Yeah. Yep.
First
It'd be
ballot.
a huge first ballot. It would just be an
Well, that's-
absolutely
It'd
huge
have to
first
be
ballot.
like 20 guys.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My God. But can you imagine though? I mean, and then if you were able to get some of them to perform together again, even some that
Sure.
maybe haven't performed in such
Yeah.
a long time together, like just imagine seeing it and hearing it and just being like, this is
doubt,
fantastic. This
And
is
I mean,
amazing,
like, if you look at it too, like all those bands, I mean, even Freddie's band with Papa Joe Rossi, Flame, that was another one back in the day. There, I mean, Freddie Pepperotto would come out in a shirt that it didn't even have any buttons. It was a V-neck down to here, silk with bell bottoms and platform shoes that stood this tall, and that's how they came out on stage.
the
And it was
V-neck
like,
that shows your belly button.
Exactly, but I mean, even if you see those old pictures, you look at it, and like, dude, what a freaking like he wore that in front of people. It was awesome.
The
I mean, like-
clothing I hear about back in the day, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what people used to tell me. They'd be like, "Your dad wore platform heels," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not surprised."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm really not shocked."
But I mean, like the cool thing is about all these bands, though, is that and when I think about first ballot Hall of Famers, for me, it's always like people that have paved the way for us to do what we do now. You know what I mean? And like all I think we're doing now as we get older, and you're starting to reflect. I have to have somebody next to me who is there with me so that we can compare stories because I hit 40 now, so next year, so I don't remember a lot of stuff, so I can't reflect without somebody with me. But anyway, so I mean, but like first ballot for me, like just people that have paved the way for us to continue to do what we do, and I hope that we can continue to do what we do so that we can pave the way for other people younger than us. Which, I mean, do you know any younger acts right now?
no,
Yeah,
I don't.
like we were
And
talking.
That's
talking
what
about
we
that
talk
before.
about in Last Left. Even like, there's
Yeah.
nobody really coming up behind, which is kind of. I hope I don't know. I hope people aren't getting discouraged or turned off from it or anything like that. I know a lot of people are turning towards different avenues. A lot of kids are just taking it in their room,
Yeah.
recording everything on their own, which is great. You're learning all this technology stuff. It's fantastic. Get the recording process done. That's one of my biggest downfalls is, I'm not the most tech savvy person.
Right.
But also you got to get out there and you got to interact, find musicians to play with, and because that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. There is nothing better than plugging in and playing with other live human beings. I mean, I say live human beings, like people are plugging into a garage with like blow up dolls or something.
You
Some
never
mannequin in the
know.
corner.
Might be
No,
onto
but
something.
huh?
Might be onto something.
Yeah, I
But
think
no,
found
you
something
just
there.
you hope people aren't losing
Yeah.
track of that because that is the feeling right there.
Yeah.
It's just plugging in and making,
Yeah. I like to
Making
think
noise.
like what kids these days, like what their parents, what their parents grew up with, at at the time, so if you think about it, like the parents were growing up with remember when like techno and electronic music started to make a comeback in like the late 90s, early 2000s?
Oh my God, yes.
So these kids now, their parents were kids then. So I'm like, wait a minute. So like there was a time in the late 90s, early 2000s where we couldn't get a gig because like they wanted DJs only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, we'd have to go, we'd have like three bars we could go between and have live music. You know what I mean? But I wonder, and this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that I'm right on this. That like there's just going to be like this period of like 3 years where we're not going to see any young musicians because they didn't have that influence. Because I really do believe that a lot of the influence comes. I mean, look at your parents. I mean, your parents instilled good music on you. My parents instilled good music on me. Same with you. I mean, we all have such a huge palette of music because of what we were introduced to growing up. So, I mean, I'm hoping that after like this little 3-year spliff here that like we're gonna start seeing some more musicians.
Well,
I'm sure we will.
There's that gap though too. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm sure you've run into it, and I'm running into it now. And like people request songs and stuff like that, and it's songs that I'm just like, huh? What? How do you think we're going to pull that off? Like, you got 4 dudes standing up here in front of you. How do you think we're going to pull that off right now? Like, and
you
then
guys know how to play That Don't Impress Me Much by Shania Twain. Wait, what?
I've been at like get-togethers and gatherings and stuff like that in the past where, 90s radio was on, and Nirvana comes on. And that's when my foot starts tapping.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've heard people be like, "What is this?" And I'm like,
"Yeah."
Oh my God, you want to smack him, right?
And I'm like, "Huh?" And they're like, "Why is he so angry and depressed?" And I'm like, "What is happening right now? What is going on? Are you serious?" But I mean, to each their own. I get it, but at the same time, you just hope people aren't getting turned off and discouraged or anything like that, and that there's still hope that people will pick up instruments, get together out there, jam together, just make noise together, make some music, have fun with it. That's what it's about,
Having fun.
Just get together in a garage and do it,
I love it.
I mean, basically, that's all we can do now anyway.
I know, exactly.
We're back to the standpoint, that we probably were when we were kids.
You guys are all garage bands now.
Yeah. Exactly. So back to
square one.
right.
Back to the learning tree there.
I'm just happy we can at least keep doing the show so we get to, we get to hang out, you know what I mean? We we all get to hang out and talk and chill. And,
and I got to give a shout out to, at least some of the venues I know of, Copper City Brewery, even the Celtic Harp is doing it, One Jenny was doing it, that are still trying to push through and have the live music and have live bands, live duos, entertainment, anything like that, because you don't know how much as musicians that we appreciate that. It means so much to us. I mean, Last Left wasn't really getting to play out. We got to do a few, backyard weddings and stuff like that were obviously socially distanced and proper and everything like that. But it's just so different not getting to do the live shows out for people. And, we got to play at One Jenny with, it might have been 2 weeks ago, I think, at this point. I don't know. This time just all blends together now. But
yeah, sure.
It was just, we appreciated it so much that One Jenny still followed through and had us as a band. They've had Last Left full on, and it was just, we were like, well, we got to play a gig. Yeah. We were like, it sounds weird to say it like that.
Right,
be like, we got to play a gig.
Yes,
like, we got one.
you.
But, yes, we got one. But, no, but we appreciate it so much, and these venues don't have to do it because we understand the hard times that they're going through right now. We really do. As business owners, and, they're trying to keep their heads above water and everything. But the fact that they still want to push through and have live entertainment means a lot to us. It means a lot.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So, shout out to all the venues that are still doing that. Mm-hmm. And the ones that were doing it for as long as they could.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's hard to do it, man.
Yeah, we actually had a gig booked at One Jenny. We got rained out. It was like our first gig. It was going to be It was our first gig back since we played a wedding in October. We played Isaac's wedding in October. And that was the last time. That's literally the last time the Showtime was played as a band was in late October.
Wow.
So
I got to talk to him. He came to Copper City when I played there. It was his birthday and everything. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I got to shoot the shit with him for a bit. It was good to see him again. I hadn't seen him in a while, so good to see him. Yeah.
Tremendous.
And then I got to meet. I don't know if you've heard. I met this guy Jim Grogan.
Big gigs, right?
You know what's funny? I just asked him about any young kids coming up that you know about. I mean, we can't even say that about Trampoline Jetstream anymore. We can't even say like Nick Vanderwood and stuff. Like you can't even say
just as long as he has.
Yeah, I know, and it's like now they're hitting like their mid-20s now or something. We're like, oh my God, they're not even kids anymore, and it's like, oh my God.
It doesn't. There's times where it doesn't feel like I've been at it that long, and then there's times where it does.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. You're a seasoned veteran now, dude.
Yeah, but that's so weird to hear.
I know.
Because I'm 30, but then I'm like, wow, I've been doing this for 15 years.
You have.
And I'm like, yeah, but that's not that long. Yeah,
it is.
It's really long.
Yeah.
No, it's not that bad. Yes, it is. You're old now. Shut up. No, stop it. Shut up, Jekyll.
The conflict is real inside of you.
Piss off, Hyde.
Yeah, right.
But it's wild to think about. It really is. But I don't know.
Nice, man.
Wait till you get my age, Sonny.
Yeah. Wait.
If I make it there, my back's already killing me.
Yeah, tell me about
I
it,
don't want to
man.
hear it out of either one of you.
It's friggin' load-ins and load-outs.
Yeah.
Are you doing any live streams? You got anything you can plug before we bounce?
I haven't even thought about the live streaming thing again yet. I got to be
No?
honest. I haven't. It didn't occur to me yet. I don't know.
Do you got any gigs you got to plug, or you want to plug?
Well, I lost him recently now,
Yeah.
because due to the venues that were just kind of had to cut back to him. So I don't know.
Right.
I haven't really reached out or looked for any other live avenues right now. Like I said, the only thing I've been focusing on lately is the writing aspect of it. And
When you get this album out, hit me up, though, bro.
definitely,
Seriously, we'll
definitely,
get
I
you up
appreciate
there
that. I really
Yeah,
do.
for
'Cause
sure.
That's what I've been focusing on. I mean, if people want to keep up with what I'm doing, Spencer Morgan Music on Instagram and Facebook. Just Spencer Morgan Music, and you'll find it. Give it a like, give me a follow. I try to post some things on there.
Sure.
Some live videos and stuff. Or I've been going over to Jeff's house and doing recordings for within the last few weeks here. I've had this spark of creativity.
Get
this
it
kinda
out, brother, get it out.
Yeah, there's some things that I need to say and do and get out there, and it's been helpful. And he's been having me come over, and he's got a studio set up in his basement there, interface, all that good
That's
stuff,
awesome.
giant screen.
Oh, cool.
So I've been recording ideas, and I post some of those every now and then. So
That's great.
that's mainly what I'm focusing on now, is just the writing. I want to be. Hopefully, when all this is done, I still want to do that original show with a full band and just do it.
You
Yeah.
will.
Get a couple
Well,
musicians.
now
up
you'll have
there.
two albums worth of music to do at your show. So
Well,
I mean,
that's-
you know what I
You
mean?
can
That's
pick
going
and
to be
choose
awesome.
what you want to play live.
Well, so
right?
right after the last album, when I released it, I had the songs written already and was going over them and showing them to the guys and stuff like that for what I was going to record for the next one.
Yeah.
But then all this happened, so I was like, all right. And now I've just kept writing on top of those, so
Yeah.
I'm building them up and just
Yeah.
got to figure out what I'm going to do. If it's going to be an EP or a CD or a single here, a single here, whatever. Nobody's beating down the door saying like, well, you need to release an album, you need to release an EP.
Yeah.
So now at this point, it's just what do I want to do? How am I going to go about doing it?
Yeah, take your time, have fun with it.
Darn, I have too many songs. Said no one ever.
No. But I gotta get through the Notebook at home, and
Right.
the movie, it's just a romantic, great movie.
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, I'm kidding.
sorry.
No, I got a notebook of
It's a rom-com.
the notebook,
Right, yeah,
the
yeah,
notebook of
exactly.
ideas that I got at home. I got to get through those and finish some of those up. But
Justin, you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, I got Thursday at Dick Smith's, which we're doing again. So right now, it's Gary and I are doing Gary Johnson and I are doing every Thursday at Dick Smith's.
is that at Dick Smith's?
I think it's at Dick Smith's. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Well, I mean, we're doing. I guess we're doing some different things here and there at Dick Smith's, but for the most part, is Gary and I doing every Thursday. So that'll be this Thursday, and then Friday, the Port Tim Duo at One Jenny if they're still doing stuff. Saturday, Gary Johnson, Joe, and I are doing a trio at Fratello's, and then Sunday I play at Woodland Farm.
Oh, cool. You're busy.
Yeah,
Got some
Good.
gigs. Good.
That's good.
Stay busy,
Very
brother.
good.
yeah.
It's all within the vicinity.
My whole
of Dick
thing is
Smith's.
I'm going to start as many projects as I possibly can so I can still gig, and be like,
Yeah.
oh, but I got this different band. Here, you might want this. And then the day after, hire this new band that I got going on playing different music,
Yeah.
You're gonna walk in one day. It's just gonna be like strobe lights and stuff, and you're gonna hear like new wave, like '80s, and it's just gonna be him up there with like a keyboard and like sunglasses on. Like
By the way, did I mention I started a DJ service?
It's hilarious.
You just remixed the 12 Days of Christmas thing you did.
Yeah,
earlier.
exactly. Eric.
Dick Smiths.
Dick Smiths.
There you go. You can make Bobby a jingle.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, I love it. Spence, thanks for coming in.
Thanks
man.
for
It's
having me.
Great to see you. And then when you get that music out, please keep me in the loop and so we get that out there for you.
Yeah,
And,
I
and
appreciate
listen to
that,
it.
and I appreciate you having me here today.
Ah, of course,
Thank
man.
you.
Next week, Joe Altier's coming in. I'm
Yep.
pumped to see Brother Joe. And then the Monday after that, Matt Jorditis.
Really?
He's coming in.
Matt's going to come in.
Matt's coming in.
Do we have enough wine in the building for him?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 2 full bottles for him.
And do we have an Uber to take him home after?
That's on Moyer, actually.
Oh, okay, good.
He's
All
going to
right.
have to call it.
As long as he takes care of it,
I'm not taking him
we'll-
all the way
all
up
right,
there.
all right.
No, I'm not driving
Don't
him.
whine about it.
Yeah, Matt's coming in a couple weeks,
That's
too.
great.
So,
That's
yeah, we got a
great.
fun lineup coming up, really.
Should we have Tim try to come in and hijack his Monday?
Maybe.
That'd be funny. Like, we're just trying to talk to Matt, and, like, Tim just keeps popping in. No, that's not how it went.
That'd be funny, man. That would be fun. I'm looking forward to catching up with Matt. I had a lot of
Definitely.
great nights with that
He's a good dude.
Absolutely. Thank you to EJA Moving Services, attorney Dave Longaretta, Utica Coffee, and Saranac Brewery for always keeping us hydrated. And let me tell you, man, these new hard spiked seltzers from Saranac, they're really tasty. It's not as sweet as they normally come, like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
White Claw, like it's really kind of sweet.
Yeah.
This isn't sweet at all. It's got
Just
a nice
a
little hint.
hint.
Have to give it
It's
a
got
try.
a hint. Yeah, they're refreshing. This is going to be great on a hot summer day. Not that it's not bad on a cold winter
Winter's
day, you know,
Eve.
but it's almost
Cold,
winter too.
cold winter's
Especially, it
eve.
could warm you up if you think about eating apple crisp as you're drinking your
Yeah,
apple
there you
crisp.
go.
Shelter.
I like it.
No
Mind
such thing
over
as too many
matter.
apples.
It's good pairing.
How do you like them apples?
Ooh, I see what you did. Okay, now we got to get out of here.
How do you
before
like them
we just
apples?
Go over that.
Like, comment, subscribe, all things Disruption Network on social media. Spencer, thanks again, man.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you,
I
Justin.
appreciate it.
See you next week.
Peace.
And I'll be back on Wednesday when my guest is Tim Herron, THC,
yeah.
the Tim Herron Corporation. Looking forward to chopping up with my old pal. Peace.